in talking about the Lord's Prayer, Edinger is saying from a psychological point of view, for psychologists, it's a formula for maintaining the connection between the ego and the self. Okay, and when they talk about the self, they're talking about the God image. Okay, and one of the lectures I'll send you the link to is called Encounters with the Greater Personality, I think. Okay, so we're talking about the Lord's Prayer, and what Edinger was saying is it's a way for the ego to connect up with the transpersonal self. And so the way he describes it is the Lord's Prayer contains 7 petitions. Right, and the reason was because you read this.
I was going to ask you if there was a religious word for petitions.
I guess it's sort of a legalistic word, isn't it? Petition, political.
Let's say that the link between the ego and the transcendent self. Is that what you said?
Well, it's the transpersonal self, the self, the transpersonal self. The greater personality. It's been described various ways in our various readings, but it's the God image, the self, the transpersonal self. For example, a very simple example, sure, would be okay. What makes us all Americans? Okay, and although American military men come from every state and from every background, men and women, they, when they're called upon to fight for the country, everybody pulls together, and they do it in a precise way. And even though they might have lots of debates and even fistfights on the weekends, when they're in battle, they're pretty much one unit. Okay, and the Marine Corps would be another. Pardon?
That focuses your attention.
Right, and so
Not a lot of time to argue.
and so we can't define what it is that makes us Americans. Okay, it's very hard to say, what one thing above all others glues us together as a nation of Americans that we can have.
I thought it was just that we're loud and arrogant.
Loud and arrogant, but but that has to be busted down in the military, right? This weekend we've got about 1,200 kids showing up at the Naval Academy as plebes, and they're from every state and from every background, and they're certainly going to get mashed down before they're built up as midshipmen and members of the Brigade of Midshipmen, right? And so anyway, there's something undefinable that makes us Americans, and so that's kind of what we're talking about. And so petition number 1, which is hallowed be thy name. Okay, so what that's saying is that life has both a secular and a transpersonal dimension, and it's the ego reminding itself that there is a transpersonal dimension. Okay, so it's not only me, it's me and my fellow Americans, it's me and my fellow Marines, it's me and my fellow group members, that sort of thing. That's the transpersonal aspect. Petition number 2, thy kingdom come. There's some spelling errors in this, but it's the ego announcing that it recognizes self, that's the transpersonal issue should prevail, and moreover will prevail. And so in Islam, you very frequently hear Muslims saying inshallah, and inshallah simply means if God wills it. It will happen if God wills it. Well, everything is kind of like that in the sense that we're talking about in this transpersonal self context. Petition number 2 is Thy kingdom come. So the ego is announcing that it recognizes the transpersonal self should prevail. Okay, that's the God image, that's the greater good. Think of it as the greater good. You look doubtful, Bill.
The greater good.
Well, I mean, that which keeps us all not fighting with one another on a day-to-day basis. Okay, we're no longer cavemen who are, we're no longer like an eagle, or out here in the bay, we have eagles and osprey that are fighting all day long, and if one osprey doesn't pay attention, he'll catch a fish, and another osprey will come up right under him and rip it out of his claws and take it away, and so that's nature, right? It's tough, but humans have sort of stopped doing that. I mean, we're not quite that big.
That's what lawyers are for.
Well, lawyers and just we have certain standards of being, mores, let's call it, and so we don't, we at least. I mean, some of my high school classmates may have trouble with me, but I have no trouble with them saying that I see them as fellow Americans, even though I don't agree with them politically. Okay, and one of the issues that we're going to get to the bottom of it by the end of this class is the issue of opposites, and how every human group creates opposites, and because we're human, but the objective is to be able to rise above the opposites and to see that there may be benefit in certain things happening, right?
It's hard to understand that they're opposites because they're connected. There's something that those opposites are pointing to that they came from.
Did they what came?
They came from.
They came from.
In the sense that there's a pleroma, which is everything.
Right.
And then you've got they come out in opposition to one another in order to create discriminative consequences.
Well, to create something better. Okay, think of.
That's where I came in on that one. The last one's because you said the greater good. So
Well,
there's always.
Well, is that what Jung is talking about when he says community? When he talks about community,
Yeah, I think
the
so.
greater good.
Right. I mean,
You can't
because
have this animistic nature. Or,
yeah, I mean, you don't have to believe in thou shalt not kill, right? And if you're in the military, you're an oversexed, underpaid killer, right?
well, the original was thou shalt not murder. It got mistranslated.
Yeah. Whatever. So it's a distinction without a difference, kind of. But but you can accept that there's a value to having the law, the commandment that says thou shalt not kill. There's a value to having that, and there's also a value to understanding that it isn't rock hard. There are times it's not rock solid. It's relative to the situation. If the Russians were physically coming over here instead of electronically coming over here, we'd all have our 350 million guns out, right? Anyway.
Have a sale.
So the point is that unless we want to be a hermit that's going to live in the wild and live off the land, we have to accept that we need others. We have all these kids running around the place with their face in an iPhone saying they don't believe in technology. What? Huh? So they're all looking for something in there. I mean, we're all looking for something in the iPhone, right? And we're all doing it. I mean, are you doing it, Jared? Do you admit that you look at the
Some degree.
Huh?
To some degree. But
To some degree, okay, but
The God image lurks in there.
well, that's right. That's right.
in my pocket all
That's the
the
transpersonal self, right? If it's not in you, then it's got to be.